Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is the books that I read in August and September, and the reason I'm combining them is because it's the beginning of the school year, so I didn't read as much, and so the videos would have been very short. So I'm just combining August and September of what I read. So I did not read a lot of books. I think there's 6 here. So we're just gonna jump straight into the first book. The first book I read was Hothouse Flower by Krista and Becca Ritchie. The two main characters are Reich and Daisy. And so Reich is 25 and he is a climber and he doesn't have the best reputation per se. And Daisy, who is 18, has like an overbearing mother, and she also at the beginning of the book has a modeling career. Daisy has a rough past and her family has some rough history, and that past kind of really negatively impacts her. And Reich has been there to help her and support her. They kind of have just friendship going on at the beginning of the book. But nobody wants them together. Either it's the age gap or Reich's reputation, and their biggest hater is her mother. And so he's protective, he's kind of the brooding type, and she's trying basically to discover herself in this book, just be who she is based on not what her mother tells her, not what the modeling career tells her, and try to overcome her past. So in my personal opinion, the age gap is a little weird, especially when they talk about their past together, like basically how Reich has always like loved her and had feelings for her, meaning that he, like when he was like 21, like when he was 20, he was like in a minor. It just is a little uncomfortable. Like if they started liking each other right in this age gap, it'd still be a little weird, but it would be less weird if they didn't talk about how he was dreaming about a 15-year-old. You know what I mean? The age gap is a little weird to be friends for that long and have feelings for each other for that long when she just became legal for him. So that's just kind of that. They have some very sweet moments. They push a lot of boundaries, which I really like, the pushing boundaries and whatever. It was pretty okay. I rated it a 3 out of 5 stars, leaning closer on the lower scale of the 3, like almost edging it 2. It just wasn't personally my favorite. I didn't really enjoy the writing. There's 3 tabs, so there wasn't a lot of sweet moments, but I just heard a lot of hype around it. It had a few moments where I was like, I enjoyed this book, but overall, it wasn't hard to get through. It just wasn't something that was entirely memorable for me, just to say. So 3 out of 5 stars. Next, I read Flawless by Elise Silver. This I also rated a 3 out of 5 stars. Again, not a lot of moments in the tab category. So the 2 main characters in this are Summer and Rhett. I think that's how you say his name. So Rhett is a bull writer, and recently he's been having some bad press, and he has to like fix it with like contract deals and to like stay in his bull writing business because he loves it or whatever. And then Summer is a new employee at her father's media company that her first project is Rhett. So basically she gets called his babysitter because that's basically what she is. She's basically just his babysitter, and they definitely have a rough start in the beginning. Over time, like they don't have good thing, but they find each other attractive, and then over time they kind of learn each other. Definitely kind of just that process. I'm not a huge fan of cowboys, not a cowboy girl, but it's kind of an ick for me. Rhett and Summer have really good like banter and anger towards each other, so I kind of enjoyed those little moments. It was fun. I liked how they both faced hard things through each other. Very decent book. If you like cowboys, you will like this 10 times better than I did. You'll actually fall in love. 3 out of 5. Higher than Hothouse Flower, like in the 3 out of 5 scale, but the cowboy really is just an ick for me, and I can't tell you why. I'm just gonna, we need to all take a moment. This is a trigger warning. This is a warning. I'm about to cuss my heart out, and I'm about to spew anger like you are my therapist, my greatest enemy. Because this book, I read Pucking Around by Emily Rath, and this book is a 0 out of 5 stars. My overall thoughts, I hate this book. I was waiting for this book to be finished. And in all honesty, I didn't finish the last like 50 pages because those last 50 pages were probably not nothing the storyline. You could have probably read a chapter of this book and you would have gotten it, because almost every single chapter was the same. It was porn. That's all. That's all there needs to be said about that one. But anyway, it was just straight threesome porn, or foursome, depending on which chapter you're reading. Really weird, very fucked up, bad plot, which was not worth the purchase. This was like almost $17. You know what it's worth? Nothing. It's worth -$17. Not worth it. I can't stand to look at this book. Looking at it makes me angry. It brings back trauma. It's bad. Rachel's basically just can't decide between three guys, and basically thinks she's like bringing them together and helping discover themselves to create like a family, just so that she can fuck them all and say they have an amazing bond. Basically, she just wants to be a cheater and is just saying that they're all discovering herself and that this is normal. It's not. She's just basically a cheater. I really hate her. I really hate her. So they all have, and they just want to do all this kinky stuff because they're deep emotional connection. It's very much bullshit, and it, as you can see, it angers me. She's horny. She just wants to cheat. Anybody who rated this book a 5 out of 5 is an actual freak, and actually just needs to go on Pornhub. 0 out of 5. I might burn that book. But after that, we did go to the highest rating of the month, so that's good. I read The Rulebook by Sarah Adams, which I rated a 4 out of 5 stars. So the characters in here are Noah and Derek. And so Noah is like entering her dream job as a sports agent, and her first client is Derek, her college ex-boyfriend, whose heart she absolutely crushed. Derek is holding a grudge at first, as he should, personally, and wants to make her life hell. Like, if she wants to be his agent, he's gonna make her life hell. That's kind of his plan. Since they're exes, they make rules and set boundaries to work together, and then one night in Vegas, they end up married. Instead of breaking it all off, they plan to act like to save face and build up Derek's career, because Derek is that's why he needs an agent so bad, because his career is kind of not doing the best. And so the publicity of him getting married to his agent might build up his career and might save her job. If it's true love, it can save her job instead of her being klutzy with a one-night stand. I think this storyline is so cute. I kind of like this trope. The fake marriage actually falling for each other. That's just kind of this trope I like. Derek and Summer are very adorable together, and they have really good chemistry. Even when they hate each other, they have good chemistry. It was such a cute romance book, and it was fast and very pleasant writing and characters. It was just one of those classic good romance books that you just fly through. And after reading Fucking Around, I needed that comfort. So it was a 4 out of 5 stars. I did actually really enjoy it. It was really cute. Next, I read Collide by Lauren Asher, which is the second in the Dirty Air series. I also just bought the third one, so I'm excited. Which is the second in the Dirty Air series. So the main characters in here are Liam and Sophie. Liam is a Formula One driver, charming, devious, and seductive. And Sophie is traveling with her dad, who works for the opposing team. Sophie just wants to kind of live life before she goes back to college. She's in college for something she doesn't want to be, so that's kind of like a big thing. So she creates a dirty bucket list, like an insane bucket list, which Liam ends up finding and sees, and he wants to help her cross off things on her bucket list. I think this is such an interesting idea, and I actually kind of didn't hate their chemistry. It was good, and there were some deep parts and not just like surface level porn. I think it was a bit weird and corny, but I liked how Sophie discovered herself. Like, she rediscovered her passion for art, and like didn't just want to keep making her dad proud. Like, her dad didn't, and she grew as a person, and so did Liam. Like, he grew out of his golden boy playboy phase. It was just a very basic, cute romance. I think I rated Throttle better, which makes sense, but this was also really cute, leaning towards the higher of the 3 out of 5, almost to a 4. But I want to find her bucket list. Okay, it's known as her fucket list, and basically, there it is. It's, I might actually get demonetized for saying these things. This is just her bucket list. You can read that yourself because I can't read that out loud. But basically just wants to cross it off, and I kind of like that. It was a cute idea. 4 out of 5 stars. And then last but definitely not least, I read The Reality of Everything by Rebecca Yarros. I can never say her last name. She is also the writer of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, which you know is one of my favorite books. So I was very excited that she came out with a kind of a non-fantasy romance. She has a whole series. This is the last book in the series. They're like standalones that can be read together, kind of like Anna Hung does. So I read the last book in her series, which I didn't mean to do, but I never knew she kind of had this. So this was like a discovery in itself. Was very intrigued and excited to hear that news. So the two main characters in here are Morgan and Jackson. So this book has some very heavy topics, and I appreciate the level of reality, which is ironic because of the name. So Morgan is still dealing with the grief and trauma because the man she loved died 2 years ago. He was a pilot, like a jet pilot in the Coast Guard, you know, flying in a bird. And Jackson is her new neighbor who's a single dad with like a complicated baby mama situation. So Morgan wants to start fresh, avoid men, obviously, and just get through her therapy, and wants nothing to do with pilot men because that's how her love of her life died. Jackson's a pilot man who is crazy about her and wants to prove that they can work and that he's not gonna die or disappear. And it's a lot of back and forth and mental struggles about grieving and moving on and letting scary things back into your life. And it can sometimes get annoying, the back and forth, but sometimes the back and forth does get annoying. But this back and forth is just the back and forth of just kind of just what happens when real life sinks in, that you don't just move on when you find new love. And so I really liked them like together. They were cute. They had cute moments and they had great chemistry, and their flirting was so cute. And them at a relationship without the problems are so cute. And even with the added problems and discoveries, like it was frustrating, but I liked that sense of realness and I liked that character growth. I like them together. Very cute. It was very inspiring. And sometimes it can be a little bit annoying. Like Morgan can be a little annoying, but I like the reality of the hard situations, and I like that they brought like honest therapy in it, and me as a psychology girly was really enjoying like seeing the whole therapy and grieving process of how she was dealing with it. So 3 out of 5 stars, leaning almost to 4. And basically that was all I read in August and September. We're gonna try to read more in October. We're gonna try to read more. Right now I'm reading a 700-page book, so might take a bit of a second. Maybe I'll finish that today. But that was everything I read in August and September. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back in October with hopefully more books, and if not, I'm very sorry to disappoint. Anyways, I love you all. I hope you have a fantastic day, and don't forget to read.